Hello, everyone. My name is Vernice, and this is my podcast, Speak Up. Shout out to my new listeners out there. For those of you that don't know, the mission statement for this podcast is we'll use our voices to motivate people to overcome life's challenges through self-love and respect. So this is a place for self-love and respect. This month flew. I don't know where October went, but we're about to be at the end of it, starting November. So I hope you guys were kind to yourself this month and are excited for the next month. I'm excited for tonight's episode. So as y'all know, I started a new segment where I kind of do an artist spotlight where we get to know the artists and their latest singles. So I'm excited for tonight. You guys give it up for Carjanae. Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
I am doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Welcome to SpeakUpJV.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here, and it's an honor. Like, I really appreciate it.
Likewise, yeah, I checked out your content. I was like, "Okay, she has a beautiful voice." I'm like excited to learn more of your story. So,
Thank you.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Carjanae. I am 25 years old, born and raised in San Diego, and I've just been singing my whole life. I started in church, and then I went to my high school was a creative performing arts school, and now I'm at UC San Diego doing music emphasis in vocal, and it's just always been something that came natural to me. I'm very blessed and grateful that God just like blessed me with my talent. I write my own songs. My sister, shout out to my sister Spec So Smooth, has created a lot of my beats, but this one was actually created by somebody that I went to school with. He graduated last year, but yeah, shout out to Justin. But yeah, that's pretty much a little bit about me. I'm just doing what I love and having a good time, living my best life.
That is amazing. And look, I'm gonna get into the school life balance in a little bit, but I know you mentioned that you have been singing for a really long time. So when did it hit you really like, you know what, this is what I'm gonna pursue? Like when you were like an adult in your adult life.
Oh my gosh, honestly, I dedicated pursuing it in high school. Like probably around junior year, just like when I was figuring out what I wanted to go to college for. And then I started putting out music actually in high school. So I was like, this is what I want to do. So I just, like I said, dedicated my life to it, and it was like, I'm set on this. Like that's just what I see myself doing in life. So I really want to pursue it and create that magic world that I just see for myself.
And I love that. It just shows how passionate you are about it. Because it's like, I think sometimes like we'll be passionate about something, but then we're like, this is in the way. We're kind of focused on that. But I love how you're incorporating it into your life, even if it is school, whatever you know what I mean, you're doing. I love that.
No, yeah, I'm very happy that I have that type of mindset, because you're right. I've seen a lot of people that are very talented in things like stop working on it or just go another route. And I'm just like, it breaks my heart, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like I saw it for you, and I just would have loved to see them like see it through. But then I'm also grateful that I've had this like love for it and passion for it for a long time, because going to college, I noticed that a lot of people didn't have that, so they're still like trying to figure out what they want to do. So it actually like gave me another thing to be grateful for, that like I've always just knew what I wanted to do, and I didn't know that there were people out there that didn't have that.
It's real. We talked before we got on camera, but I went to UC Santa Cruz, and they were saying the average person changes their major like 7 times. So that shows you right there how confused we are. You're only like 18 when you go into college, and you're like, what am I doing? So
no, yeah, it get hard. It get hard out there.
Yeah, right. When you have a gift and it's with you, it's like, okay, like even with this podcast, I'm doing this podcast about 6 years, I want to say. Yes, thank you. And like it just showed me how passionate I am about it, because life has been life and things have been happening, but it's like still finding that time and then connecting with the right environment to do what you want to do. So clapping for you on that. I love that. So how would you describe your music style from your point of view?
I would describe my music style as I love R&B. So I would say I'm very R&B based when it comes to what I create, but I love to also be versatile. So I actually am being trained in classical as of right now. I've been trained in jazz, and I also love to sing in Spanish. I love to sing in Italian. Like I just always make sure to be open in trying new things. Yeah, like I just love to be open and creative with like the possibilities. I never want to be like typecast. You know how they say like typecast it. I never want people to just only see me as R&B, so I always try to incorporate new things, so I could just have a little flavor and love from all types of genres.
That's huge. Like I think of like Beyonce, for example, how like she's at the
Yeah.
she could just drop any type of album and it's just
No,
like it works, like country, house music and all that. So that's amazing. So I know you mentioned your age. So, what that means, what I'm trying to say is you were very young during like the 90s era, right? Where
yeah.
well, I'm probably doing the math wrong in my head, but would you say you were exposed to that old school 90s R&B growing up?
Oh,
Even though,
yes.
it was like before your time.
Yeah, I was, and I'm so grateful I was, so I could like have that with instilled in me from
Mhm.
like starting with my parents, and then even one of
Yeah.
my aunts that would like watch me. She would always play Maxwell in the car, and like
Ooh.
my cousins like joke about it to this day, like Maxwell and Ninny, like those are the two, you know. But it started with my family. They all just like had such a good love for it, so I
Mhm.
would hear different people from like all types of people, my parents, aunts, uncles, cousins, and then even my sisters. Like one, my oldest sister was in love with Aaliyah, so I know Aaliyah's because of Aaliyah songs because of her. So yeah, I was very lucky to be the baby of the family and just
Uh-huh.
like, learn from everybody around me.
I love that. It's crazy because my little sister is 24 and she calls
Oh
me every day bumping different R&B like this. And it's just cute because I'm like, yeah, she listened to me bumping certain music. So
yeah,
I love that.
especially with like MTV, and then BET as well with the music videos. Like we would have that planned all throughout summer. Like it's the
Mhm.
best.
That's cute. And do you when you're out in public, do you ever like get on stage and do karaoke sometimes and show your vocals off?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. And I love to like look at the crowd, so I always just like play what I feel would cater to the crowd because it's just like that's a performance in me. So depending on where I'm
Mhm.
at, like I might throw in some Whitney because I'm like, okay, I can see this crowd will like it. Or I might do a rock song if I'm like in North Park. So
It's like all
yeah.
about the vibes, keeping it versatile.
Hmm.
That's big. So, what message do you want listeners to receive when they're listening to your music?
The message I want my listeners to receive is the importance of creating a world within my music filled with
Mhm.
love, passion, peace, comfort, strength, sexiness, beauty, and all of that stuff that like I personally want to feel within my music, but
Mhm.
I also want them to feel that and just like create a world, but also like just what they need from my music. And I'm not sure what some everybody needs from my music, but whatever they are gaining, especially positive wise, I hope
Mhm.
that that's what they can like have because that's something that is really important to me as a listener is like the world I escape to when I'm listening to them. Whether I need a good dance or a good cry or just inspiration, I feel so motivated and inspired by like artists that can create a world for you. So that's something that I always love to do.
Okay, so you give them that interpretation. I think that's the most beautiful thing about music. Like, too, is just
Yeah.
you're gonna get what you feel out of it. Like how they said with like Frank Ocean, like who he was singing about on "Thinking About You," it's still a song. So even who, no
Hmm.
matter who he's singing the song to, what do you feel when you listen to it? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that's big. That's big. And in your opinion, what do you think makes your music stand out from like similar artists that have like the same type of music type as you?
I feel like what makes me stand out is just my versatility,
Mhm.
honestly, and just I feel as though sometimes they can get, like I said, like kind of typecasted, so really comfortable with what
Mhm.
they're making. And it's not that it's bad, like it's still really good, but
Mhm.
I can just like, when you hear that song, you're like, oh yeah, it's just that person. And sometimes it kind of gets repetitive. So
Mhm.
I love that I love to be comfortable and uncomfortable, like being uncomfortable. So I just always want to push it and just like I don't want the songs to always sound the same. Like I want people to listen to an album and like there's something different in each song and it's not kind of like, oh, I feel like I'm listening to the same song over and over again.
Mhm.
So yeah, I feel like that's something that sets me apart too.
Mhm. And yeah, I really call our artists when they can do that.
Yeah.
Because some people kind of get stuck in that same style, which is fine. We all have our niche, but yeah, when you can switch it up and it still sounds amazing, I think that's definitely a talent.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like it's so important, and I feel like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. No disrespect, but I do just feel like you lose something. You lose like a little bit of that like love for like the music that the possibilities of what the music could be. when you're just always like doing the same things. Especially like it's really interesting when you're working with different producers as well, but still getting the same things. It's like, interesting.
What are we doing here? Because I think of Whitney Houston. I mean, she did her changes and jumped through, and they were all hits.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how I'm trying to be. Like Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, Prince,
Yes.
like all of them like had different transitions in each album and each single, and I just love that. So that's like the type of time I'm on for sure.
That's big. And I have this weird thing that I do, not weird, but this thing that I do, like I'll take an artist and I'll listen to all their albums. And then it's interesting literally to see their growth, or oh, they were going through this divorce during this time, or this was happening, or they were stepping into their sexy era when they released this album. And I think that's fascinating, seeing the growth of an artist too.
No, yeah. And honestly, that's interesting that you bring that up, because I've done that with Beyonce, and I haven't done that with everybody, but now you're like making me want to. But with her last 3 albums, the self-titled one, and then Lemonade, and then Renaissance, you could literally just like see her refinding herself and finding that self-love that like she needed to like regain and build for herself again, which I think is super, super inspiring. So yeah, I've done that with her for sure, and you could just hear her growth so much, and it's just like, oh, I'm proud of you, girl. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I think she was talking about too, like the getting her sexiness back after being pregnant and like all that. So so the last artist I had did this with was Faith Evans. So I listened to all her albums,
cool.
And like that first song was at that nice, R&B vibe, and it gets more serious, like Grown Woman, I Ain't Taking No Man. Like it's just it's crazy to see that. So that's big. Look, they'll be able to do that with you too. So I love it.
You're right.
I love it. So I'm really big on spoken word and speaking things into existence. So if you could collab with any artist, who would it be and why?
Oh, that is a great question. I have a couple of people.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I would love to do Steve Lacy. I think he is just so creative. Like he is literally a perfect example of somebody that you can tell he has a big R&B base, and he said that before, but he is so versatile in his music. Like his whole album that he did, Gemini Rights, was different. Each song had a different vibe, and I was like, yeah, I love that. Tyler, the Creator, shout out to his new album he just put out. I was listening to it while getting ready. I was like, yeah, this is fire. I freaking love it. And then the last one I'll say is Billie Eilish. I think her writing is just so, so beautiful. And I love like how vulnerable she is in her music. I love that. And then somebody else is Drake. That's my man.
Oh, that's a big one.
I gotta have a song with him.
That was a nice versatile list right there. Wow. Yeah. I love you, Joe. Yeah, it was like way different. None of them were the same.
Not at all. And that's just, like I said, that's just what I love to like instill within myself. It's just the difference and the beauty in all of them. They all like have something within them that I just like, oh yeah, I could take that and I could work with that. I could do that, like I love it.
Okay. Look, she spoke it into existence already. I love that. So tonight's episode, you guys, is titled Nights Like This Artist Spotlight. So tell us about your project Nights Like This, and I loved it. I want to say that on here to you face to face. So tell us a little bit about it.
Well, Nights Like This is a song that I actually wrote when I needed it the most. So, like just like we were talking about the course of like the changes in life. And so I just noticed that a lot of my songs are love-based, but like towards another person. And which is absolutely okay, because that's like, I love like giving love, but I needed to remind myself the love that I am always open to giving, I need to receive myself. And I need to like remind myself I am that girl. Like I should and will be put first as well, not always you first, and just like being just like singing to myself instead of singing to someone else. So yeah, that's how Nights Like This came to be, is just like me like uplifting myself instead of like always uplifting like a man, like my significant other,
And we definitely need that. We have to pour into ourselves before we can pour into anyone else. And it's crazy that that song is the spotlight for her because my show focuses on self-love and inner peace. So
yeah, no, and that's why I was like, another reason I was so excited to come on here, because I am all that. Like, I feel like it's so important to instill that within myself, but also to other people too, because you never know like whose day you can make by just being nice, you know, like genuine, kind.
And it's true. I feel like the nicer we are to people really comes from how nice we are to ourselves. And it's like you'll have that ability to keep giving that love to other people. When you're doing that with yourself. So you know, I know you kind of mentioned what the song was about, but like, what's kind of like the story behind it? So like, how was that writing the song? Like, what space were you in? How were you feel? Like, what made that tick where almost like where you're like, this is what I'm gonna do for this song?
Well, at first, like I said, shout out to my friend Justin. So he had gave me the beat before, and so I was just like listening to it, and I was just like, I just kept saying like, tell me you want it this way, tell me you want it the way you're right. And so I was just like, I kind of just started writing off of that, and I was just like, I don't know, I just like was like, I want to have a song that's just like having a good time, and just like reminding myself, like I said, that I'm that girl, like you are coming to me, you want me, and all of that. So that's kind of like the mindset that I was in when I was writing the song. And then when we went back into the studio to like fix it up, because I had some more ideas, which was a really cool experience as well, just to like really have more of a say within the beat. I grew my lyrics based on that too. But yeah, that's how it kind of came to be, is like I just kept repeating this one sentence, and I was like, I need to play off of that, and I need to just like I said, my whole mindset was like, I'm that girl, and we're gonna have a good time, live our best lives, like I always say, and just do it right.
It's nothing like feeling yourself. Like you ever put your cute outfit on, you out driving, it's like, I feel really good right now. It's not because of anyone else either. Like, I'm feeling this.
No, literally, especially because I wrote it too around summer. So I wanted like a song just like for myself and others, just to have a good time, like driving down the freeway, just blasting it, like having a good time, getting ready with their girls, blasting it. So that's another thing too that inspired like this topic was summer. Like I just wanted a good song for summer, a feel-good song for summer.
That is well said. And so you probably already said it, but what's your favorite lyric from that song? And also, what's your favorite lyric of all time from other projects you've worked on?
Ooh, that is a great question. I love that. Oh my gosh. Okay, so nights like this, I think I'll say it's the ad-libs, and it was in the chorus when I'm like, take notes from me, I'm the blueprint, baby. And then it's the take notes from me, it's not hard to see, I'm shining, baby. So I think those are like my two favorite from that song, just because I'm like, yeah, at the end of the day, it's me. Like, I'm the blueprint, take notes from me, I'm shining. So those are my favorite for sure, just to like really go hard into that. Like I said, I'm that girl, I'm shining, I'm thriving, having a good time. And then from another project, I think Foreplay is coming to mind.
Okay.
And I think I would have to do, like the first verse. I really like the first verse, like how I use a lot of play on jazz lyrics. Okay. So I like, yeah, I never said this before, but the first verse is, dream a little, dream of me, you are where I want to be. This love is so deep, your kiss makes my soul weak. Make me sway with the way you move my body. This is never ending. So I think I just really like that, because it's just like, it starts the song off so strong, but like I said, like it's the wordplay off of like the Dream a Little Dream of Me is like one of my favorite songs by Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong, jazz. Okay. And then the Make Me Sway, when the rhythm then it starts to play, dance with me. So I just think that's like super cool that like if you know, you know. Well, now you know, but
That's what you're doing.
I love that wordplay, and that's one of the reasons I do like really love rap is because like they go so hard. Sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, like I want to do that too. So
Play
I
on words.
yeah, I really get inspired by like the poetic wordplay that a lot of like rap and even in R&B too, but just like rap artists do a lot.
On site too. You're like, okay,
Right.
how do we do that?
I'm like, right, period.
That is huge. Okay, look, those I love that answer to that question. So, when it comes to music, art, writing and stuff, I write poetry. And what I want to say is a lot of when I first started writing poetry, a lot of my lyric words, quotes came from pain. And then as I been working on myself on my journey of like self inner peace, I noticed like I'm able to now write from happiness, right? A place of that. So,
Yeah.
in your opinion, does your best work come from pain or happiness?
Ooh.
Yeah, I got no.
Dang. Oh gosh. I think it I don't want to say both, but I think it comes best from like I would say the where I'm at right now, happiness.
Okay.
Yeah. Where I'm at right now, happiness, but pain is a great one. Literally what I tell people all the time is one of the reasons I always say I'm living my best life is because like if I don't, living is work for me. If I don't live, I have nothing to write about. So everything that I go through is whether it's happy, good, bad, sad, it's something that I can create, music with. So
and I don't know if you can relate to this, but like with me personally too, I feel like with the pain writing, it's like you have to do it. It's like, now I gotta get this out. This is my venting way. And then with happiness, it's like, oh, I can write today.
For sure.
Doing it, so that's okay. That's cool. That's cool. So, you mentioned you are a college student. So how is it juggling school and music at the same time?
Oh, it can be a lot at times, but it's honestly a lot of fun, especially because like I'm able to take what I learned from school and take what I learned outside of school into both places. I can intersect them way easier than like some other people might be able to do if they're like doing something else outside of school and in school. So it's not that hard, only sometimes if schedules kind of like get mashed up, especially with me performing more in LA. Like sometimes there's like shows on Thursday nights and I'm like, oh, so it's like, do I miss school or do I try to make it all work? So sometimes scheduling wise, it can be a little hard, but I do love that I'm able to like I said, intersect them, especially like music theory and piano and all that stuff. Going to school helped me like learn that quicker than I would have on my own. So I'm really grateful for that.
I love it. And you killing two birds in one stone too. Like you said, you getting all the knowledge and it's helping you get your degree. So
yeah,
that's huge. So any advice for students who are currently chasing their dreams to do music?
Some advice that I would say is to be your biggest fan and to always just like have that confidence and that support from like family, because when I tell you I'm so grateful and blessed for my family, and I thank them all the time for the support that they give me. That foundation is so important. So I would just say like being your biggest fan and having that support system and just keeping the faith. I don't know if everybody believes in God, but he's a great person to believe in, especially when you're trying to reach something. So I would always say like have that belief and faith that like the only way you won't make it is if you stop. So you just gotta keep going, and also don't let what's happening around you affect like your like how you feel about your success or anything, because that's something that I would have trouble with sometimes, is just like feeling like people on my Instagram that like went to high school with me and all that don't support me, or like people that just know me don't support me. And so I just had to like get out of that headspace. Like, no, it's not about them. Like at the end of the day, I will find my fans, and it's really weird, but it's usually easier for the people that don't know you to support you. So I've had to stop taking it so personally that people that know me don't support me as much. But I say that to say never let that discourage you or take away from your success, because they aren't determining that.
Oh, those are some gems right there. And like going off what you said about faith, I love having like a Bible verse to read for particular situations when I'm feeling
Yeah.
like that. And then, like you said, with college, I think too, like looking back at my colleges, you shed so many people. Like you're finding yourself, everyone's finding their niche, or like the things they were into in high school, they're no longer into it in college and things like that. So
Mhm.
you're finding your tribe too. So
Yeah.
that's a good one on that, not taking everybody's steps. So that's good. And so what's a piece of advice you would give to upcoming artists? If you could speak to yourself, like when you first started, really going after singing, what would you give advice?
I would say to just like keep being patient, and
Mhm.
because that's something that sometimes I still have trouble with, but keep having the being patient and having faith and just staying ready so you don't got to get ready. Like
Mhm.
have your elevator pitch on go, have your cards, your QR codes ready to scan or give out to people, and
Yes.
just always like even if you're nervous, just like go for it, because like the only way like it won't work is if like you don't do it. Like the worst somebody could say is no, and that's
Mhm.
fine, because that when that door closed, another one will open, like they say, and the right one will open. So yeah, I just think just having that confidence and just kind of going back to what I said about being your biggest fan, like
Mhm.
telling yourself you're a brand, you have to have that confidence. You have to be like willing to be like, yeah, you should like
Mhm.
I am your next favorite artist. Like, come on now, you know?
That confidence is huge. Like I think about this old video I seen of Migos. They was on stage and no one was in the crowd. It was like three people. But then
Yeah.
you look back at that and then to what they became from just keep
Hmm.
going. It's like wow. And I always think of what Nipsey say: "How long to opportunity means preparation." So like you said, staying
Oh
prepared,
yeah.
being ready with those call. I shout out to Shop LA. I use their digi cards with the QR code. So yeah,
Hmm.
that's real. Okay. Hope y'all taking notes out there. She's definitely on here dropping gems.
I try. I try.
Yes. So I know you mentioned Max. So I know you talked about Beyonce, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston. But are there any other artists who inspired you when you were growing up?
Oh yes, for sure. Christina Aguilera.
Ooh, okay.
That's my girl.
Love it.
Selena Quintanilla.
Yes.
Um, who else was there? Ella Fitzgerald. That's who
Okay.
got me into jazz.
Sweet.
And is there anyone else that I want to? Nobody's coming up right now, but
Good list though.
yeah, and obviously Beyonce. Like
Yeah.
that's somebody. She still inspires me. But even her too. She was up there as well.
Hmm. Great list. Like I said, very a dynamic list too. So that's gig. So, what's a hard lesson that you had to learn on your music journey, and how did you pivot through it?
Dang. A hard lesson that I had to like pivot through was just learning to be okay with those no's, and
Mm.
not questioning myself or my worth. And just knowing that, like I said, when one door closes, the other one will open.
Mhm.
But especially, like I said, I started young. So in high school, I just wasn't as confident as I am now. And I wasn't as sure. So I just be like,
Mhm.
well, why don't you want me and all that stuff? And sometimes it still can be a little hard. Like, what is it taking? What is it going to take? But
Mhm.
yeah, that's something that I had to just like learn to just be okay with is a nose. And also just like, knowing that sometimes people got to work harder than others. So like the nepo babies, really, I was kind of getting mad. Like every time I like research, like some people, I'll be like, oh yeah, that's why, So that's something else I had to like pivot through as well, just like accepting that everybody was born a different way and has the different access, access, at different
Mhm.
times, and just knowing that like when it's my time, it will be my time. So I just gotta like work harder to find my connections than other people, and just know that like it's okay that they said no, because the right person that I'm supposed to be around will say yes. So those are
Mhm.
the two things that I had to like kind of be like, okay, learn and just be like work through it.
Mhm. And I feel like too learning the beauty of redirection sometimes, like knowing that sometimes it is the no's are protecting us too.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah,
big deal.
exactly.
Okay. So, I know when people say they want to be a singer and all this stuff, there's no one talks about the way you have to take care of yourself, right? In between
Mhm.
that. So, what's a good tip that you would recommend to singers who want to preserve their voice and keep their vocal cords healthy? Because no one really talks about that. So I'm curious too.
Oh, I got you, girl. I got you.
Yes.
So
I
some
don't
things
sing, but yeah, I just want to know.
well, if you ever start singing, here's some things that I do for myself. But I feel like ginger tea is really, really crucial. And you don't even have to do ginger tea. You could do like ginger shots, and it has like turmeric and all that stuff. But it just like really clears up your throat. And then apple cider vinegar is really good. So like I make a tea that has apple cider vinegar tea, ginger tea, and honey. And so I usually drink that before a performance. Um, and then when you're sick or if you have a sore throat, I know a lot of people think that it's just like, oh, drink a lot of hot stuff. But one of my vocal coaches actually said you should balance it with cold and hot. So your voice isn't just getting one type of like weather, because it's not weather, but not temperature. It's
Mhm.
not like it doesn't need just all hot stuff. It needs to cool down as well, because it's like the reason it's sore is because it's inflamed. So only putting heat on it won't necessarily help it.
Mhm.
And then I think closing the window, if you have a performance and it's cold, closing the window is like crucial. And I
Mhm.
know some people don't like to be hot, but like don't turn on that AC sometimes, don't turn on the fan. And then when you're going out, you cover your throat and all that stuff, make sure you're warm. But yeah, those are some things that I make sure to do. And screaming as well. Like if especially before performances, like if you know you're gonna perform the next day, don't be going out and yelling and be like, ah, like no, please don't.
Mhm. You want a horse.
Exactly. Like don't do anything that'll tire your voice out. But those are some things that I do for myself. And yeah.
Wow, that was some great too, because I had no clue about, keeping your neck warm. I didn't know that did something.
Yeah, it does for sure, especially during like wintertime. And that's why like I know a lot of these things, because Christmas is one of my favorite times to sing. And
Mhm.
sometimes it'd be my most like nervous times
Oh.
to sing, because my bed is like right next to the window. So
Mhm.
that's why I'm like closing the windows like me, because once Christmas comes around, that's when my nose starts to really act up, and that's when I'm just like, oh, kind of like getting sick a little bit more than I usually do. So always wearing a scarf when I go out is super important. And yeah, just keeping warm, because I just know you like that's something really important too, is you gotta know your body,
Mhm.
and you gotta like accept just the way that it is. So for me, I know that winter can be like a trickier time. So make
Mhm.
sure that I'm like not doing anything that can put it in potential life damage.
Mhm, mhm. And I want to add this on with the self love and inner peace. Cut off toxic energy so you ain't out there yelling at people. Like, I need to preserve my voice. I'm not gonna go off on you.
No, for real, for real. Okay, that's why we go just write it down. I like, just I'm gonna just go write it in a poem or write it in a song.
You know when I gotta go off.
No,
Oh,
literally cut
that's,
them off.
that's a good one.
Cut them
Don't let me
off.
be a singer. See, I wouldn't be arguing with nobody. I'll be like, you know what?
No, literally, that is
I
too
see
good.
why Beyonce don't say much. Now I understand. Thank you for that.
Right.
You know this shit. You don't say nothing. Oh, okay, that was a good one. Thank you for that.
Oh, thank you for that. Cause you're right. Cut them off. It'll be easier.
So what is your favorite affirmation to say to yourself?
Oh my gosh. I like the I am. So I love to do like I am grateful for today because I got to work out, or like something with the I am beautiful, I'm smart, I'm kind, I'm generous, I'm healthy, all those. So I really love to like really dive into the I ams and just remind myself like I am these things. And I think it's really important too to like say them even like the days that you don't really feel it, because those are the days you really need them the most. But I just feel like it's so, so, so important to do it every day consistently, because the more that you do it, like your brain is a muscle, so you'll be able to transition your thoughts easier and not just always doing it on the days you feel good. But I say all that to say the I ams are like my favorite.
That's huge. Yeah, they're just good reminders. I feel like even when, because self doubt will try to creep in with anyone, and I feel like yeah, when you knock it with those I ams, like I am worthy of this actually happening, good for me and well. It's like okay,
Yeah.
silences that when you feel like you're not enough for something or whatever it may be.
No, literally. I'm curious though, what are yours?
Yeah, so yeah, one of my favorite ones is I am worthy. I love
Mm,
to say I'm on the right path. I like to say I speak life into people, things like that. Because having a show like this, I want to remind myself that I am equipped, to do those certain things. Worthy
yeah.
is a big one for me. I feel like I grew up. Well, the way I grew up, I didn't have a healthy way where how I talk to myself. So reversing that self talk, you know what I mean. I am worthy has definitely kept me,
Yeah.
reminded of that. So.
I love
Yes.
that.
I love these kind of discussions. They're my favorite. So, what's a networking tip you would give to other artists out there? Because I already know, even with this podcast, when you're doing the footwork, you're out there, you're meeting people. Sometimes, especially when you're alone, sometimes doing it, it could get a little challenging and rough. And it's like nothing like having those genuine connections. So, in your opinion, what's a good networking tip?
A good networking tip is just being yourself and
Mm-hmm.
just like always being open to like talking to people. Like I said earlier, just like even when you're nervous, just going for it and also being consistent with the people that you meet. Just always like, hi, I hope you're doing good. Or like during the holidays. That's something my dad actually taught me. Shout out to my dadager. But like he's like, come on now, like just tell them happy Thanksgiving and all that. I was like, no, you're right, you're right. But those are some like networking tips that I really try to practice. Some days it's easier than others, especially like you just kind of get like, oh, with school and trying to make your music and grow your brand, sometimes you forget. But those are some networking tips that I really try to do, is just like always putting myself out there, being consistent, and yeah, just like making a real like bond with the person, because you never know who they know and you never know what they could do for you in the right time.
Yeah, it's not the like expanding to your community. So
Yeah.
that's a big. I love going to events. I'm always outside. People know that,
Yeah.
and I feel like those are the best connections when I meet people in person. Like social media is cool. I love the tool. I love being able to do, it, but it's nothing like shaking somebody's hand or giving them a hug and meeting them. So
Yeah, exactly. Events are so, so, so crucial, especially in the areas that you want to like grow in. So LA, I've been getting up there more, and I was just like meeting so many people. I'm like, oh my gosh, like look at this, So LA for sure is like a really big place, especially if you're doing music. And
yes.
yeah.
There's always performances, people looking
Mhm.
for someone to perform or artist spotlight. So no, it's definitely the right place. So
Yeah.
that's big. So I love to ask my guests this question. How do you practice self-love?
Some ways that I practice self love is taking myself out on dates.
Yes.
Yes, I love it so much. And then having a relationship with God,
Mhm.
working out, and then holding myself accountable. Like, I think that is so, so, so important. I can't want somebody to do something if I'm not like doing it for myself.
Mhm.
Just like you were saying too earlier about just like, I got to like love myself before anybody else even tries, or before I even allow somebody else to. So yeah, those are some ways that I show myself self-love. And like you're saying too, the positive affirmations are so important to me. And laughing.
Yeah, I could do that all day.
Come on now. Yeah. Yeah, laughing. I love to laugh. So yeah, those are some ways that I show myself love.
That's a beautiful answer. And I want to kind of stay on this for one more second. It's crazy because there's such a taboo about taking yourself on dates. I love it. Honestly, when I go out by myself, I actually have the most fun. Like,
Yeah.
it's funny how some people are like, oh, I wish I was brave to do that or this. And it's like, it shouldn't, in a day, like, do something that you like to do or that you always
Mhm.
wanted to do, whether it's a good meal or something fun. And honestly, I love it. Like, I
Yeah.
really like spending time with myself. And then I feel like, too, even if you're in a space where you want to meet people, you actually meet the most people when you go out by yourself. Like there's
No,
times like
yeah.
I've even sat at a bar by myself and watched the game, and I look up all these men are buying me drink, people and women too,
I love it.
and just I met like you meet a whole group of people and you're just having a great time, because I don't know, it's
Yeah.
a good conversation starter. Like, oh, you're by yourself, yeah. It's like I don't know. So
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. And I didn't, like I said earlier too, like you just don't notice things until you're doing it. But yeah, I didn't notice like
mhm,
a lot of people are actually uncomfortable doing it. And I'm just like,
mhm.
"Ah, I don't know what to tell you. You know, I'm just used to like I just recently went to Hawaii by myself. I did my
Oh,
first solo trip.
love
And so
that.
that was like a really cool experience. It was very different. Like in the hotel, it did kind of get boring. I'm not gonna lie. I was just like,
Mhm,
oh, like I don't got nobody. But when I
mhm,
was out doing stuff, it was actually a lot of fun. So yeah,
mhm,
I think it's so important. And like I think it was 2 years ago for Valentine's Day. I just took, like you said, I took myself out to my favorite restaurant, and
mhm,
then I love interior design. So I just like went and walked around some like places and just like looked around on their like looked at their decor and stuff like that. So
mhm.
I just like you said, I think it's just like finding simple things that you want to do and
And
doing.
doing it, because I feel like we put so much power on something else, it's not fun anymore. Like, for
Mhm.
example, I love having my nails, and so I'm known for always keeping my nails something different. There you go.
Same.
And but imagine it was only for someone. It wouldn't be as ooh to you, but it's like when you're doing it for yourself, it's like no one could tell you shit. So
Exactly.
it's like
Exactly.
it
Exactly.
is it is a beauty to that. So thank you for bringing that up because like I'll be on Twitter sometimes and I do see people like, oh, they're by themselves, and I'm like, what's wrong? I really be like, what's wrong with that? Like,
Yeah, no, literally, they try to make it so sad, especially on TikTok. You know, they'd be
mhm.
putting sad music. It's like, first of all, why are you recording that person? And
Yeah,
second of all, like, it was probably their choice.
the
Like,
best time of their life at that.
exactly. Just because you caught them on their phone, don't mean that they sad or waiting on somebody. Like,
Mhm.
they could genuinely be having a good time. So
I would
yeah,
be scared to not be happy in my own skin. I think that scares me more if like I'm alone and I can't do it. I think
yeah.
personally, and everyone to each their own, but you know.
I no, I absolutely agree. And that was one of the reasons I was like, I want to start this self-love journey
Mhm,
because I just want to make sure that like I am good on my own, like I just want to be happy within myself. And I feel like we're starting to get more into that into this generation. But
mhm.
yeah, just like loving yourself because we don't really talk about it. So that's why it's like so important to like actually focus on it instead of just like focusing on everything else in your day. Like, no, like focus
Mhm.
on you, you
Mhm.
know?
It's so many beautiful results that come from that. Like I started my self-love journey. I would say I really got serious about it about age 24, 25.
Uh-huh.
And once it's like ever since, you know what I mean? It's just I see the person I am today versus, you know what I mean, and the journey. Like you're
No,
happy you take that step for yourself. If that makes
no,
sense.
literally. And it helps like with the people that you surround yourself with because something that it really helped me do is not being afraid to walk away from people
Mhm.
or people walking away from me.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, if you want to act like that, like act like that. You can act like that
Mhm.
over there, and I'm gonna go over here.
I'm gonna go
You
over.
know, and sometimes it's easier said than done, especially the type of
Mhm.
relationship it is. But I will say it has helped me a lot not being a people pleaser and just knowing when to like let things go.
And like learning to tap more within yourself. I feel like you can hear yourself more, you can hear God more too when like the more you dive into that. So I
No,
love
yeah.
that. And congrats on your self-love journey, girl. Love it for you.
Thank you
And
so
for us.
much.
Yeah, we doing it.
No, yeah. I'm curious though, what are some other things outside of dates? What do you do for yourself?
Like just so I like to write, I like to cook. So sometimes like I'll cook myself a really nice
Oh,
meal. I'm big on nails. Oh, and I also run. So I did a marathon last March for my first time ever doing one. But
oh,
running has
congrats.
been my little thank you. Running has been my little like escape and something I fell in
Mhm.
love with that I'm like, okay, this is for me. And like, sometimes I like to run by myself. Like I run with a group, but sometimes I run by myself. And I feel like
Yeah.
that's me really getting in with my thoughts and talking to God and things like that. So little things like that,
Mhm.
and just I think it's nothing wrong with hobbies. I think the more you tap into your hobbies and you learn more about yourself, it's like
Mhm.
you really enjoy that time with yourself. You're not bored with yourself. Just
Yeah.
like let's just say this. Let's say you are dating someone, like you're in a relationship with a person. It gets boring if y'all don't know what to do.
Yeah.
About that, if like y'all don't know each other, y'all don't know each other. Like so it's the same with yourself. If you don't know what you like to do, it's gonna be boring or
Come on now.
sitting there, So entertain yourself too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are my little ways. And then
I
doing this, I love being on
love
the podcast.
No, yeah, I love that so much. I love to bake, so
Oh,
that's one of the things too that like baking is so much fun. So we're like really here. We see eye to
right.
eye on a lot
I
of things.
what do you
So
like to bake, by the way? What's your top? Someone said bake something special right now, what would it be? Like,
I'm really into baking these chocolate chip blondies.
oh, sounds delicious.
Yeah, so that's something that I like have baked for people, but I would also bake. But I also really enjoy doing cakes. And during COVID, I actually learned how to do it from scratch. So
Uh-oh, you might have to on the side have a cake business too.
I'm saying.
That is so huge. Okay. Y'all better tap in with that as well. So this is the final question. It's a question I like to ask all my guests. What do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for just like spreading joy, spreading love, and just like showing people a good time. Like genuinely, I just want people to be left with just that positive energy, warm, comforting, peaceful energy. Like that is just something that I want to be remembered by, left with, and also one of the greatest artists in the world. You know, I am going to be up there with Beyonce and Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston, Prince. I am going to be up there with all of them, just in my way, you know. But I definitely, that's something I am aspiring to do and be, is to like be left as one of the greats and have timeless music and just be a timeless name. Like that is something that I definitely want to be left by.
Oh my goodness, I love it. You definitely on the road today. You're doing it already. It's already done.
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming on here. It was nice getting to know you more and getting to know more about your music and your story. I was like, wow. Before we go, can you shout your information out? Where can people find you and tune into your music and follow you?
Yeah, so what I use Instagram the most, so definitely Instagram is my name, Carjanae with a rose at the end. And that's where I post like all the performances I'm gonna be doing or like the interviews I'll be doing. And then Spotify and Apple Music. I have music videos on YouTube. But once you go on my Instagram, my link tree is there. So you just click on the link tree and it has all of the social medias and all the websites that like you would want to have by me.
I love, yeah. Shout out to Link. You're making things so simple.
Yes.
Make sure you guys tap in with her content. Oh my goodness. Yes. Okay. Well, yeah, this was so nice. And I wish you the best on your music career and everything that you're doing. Keep up the great work. Keep inspiring and keep speaking life. You're doing it. Dude, yes.
Thank you so much. And once again, I really, really appreciate your time and being on here. And just, I had the best time. Like I am so glad that you are continuously doing this and never stop, because like this made my night. I'm just, oh, I love it so much. So I really, really appreciate what you're doing for yourself and for others, because you're doing it well, honey. You're doing it well. So I just want to thank you and just say that I really appreciate it. And this is such a beautiful platform that you've created. And I'm so happy that and honored that I was able to be on here.
Thank you so much. And it was an honor to have you on. So yes. But all right, y'all. But you guys, please tap into her music. She the info will be in the bio, but make sure y'all tap into SpeakUpJV Thursdays at 8:30. I'm on Twitter at SpeakUpJV, Instagram at SpeakUpJV. My personal is at Vernisa. Hope you guys all have a great rest of your week, and I will be back soon. Bye, y'all.